Hey, everybody. We're back.
A little bit of technical difficulties, but we're still here.
You can see my mess on the desk. Let me fix and get things proper. Welcome back to round 3 of the Dallas Regional. I'm Bear Bryant. This is Tito. Well, we were watching Nagaryuki versus Angress. And we have a conclusion, finalization of that match because sadly, during our technical difficulties of internet, that match has concluded. Angress fans rejoice. 2-0, taking down the Nagaryuki in that aggressive mirror match. It went over pretty quickly afterwards that we cut away, so that we don't have the extra footage to go through for that. But instead, you get Tito and I. We're going to talk to you guys while we conclude round 3, and we are going to be going into a lunch break after this. But that doesn't mean go anywhere, because during the lunch break, we are going to have Tam and Jeremy Ray on the game design team come over and talk about Tekken 8 and some of the cool and exciting upcoming features, mechanics, thought process, and getting into the mind of the game designers themselves, while our co-commentator, Sam Tate, plays against Timothy Friedlieb, also on the game design team. Some extra fun gameplay to go over that while they do that for the lunch break. So there will still be UniVersus action for everyone to enjoy, and you'll have some great peek into the brain of Jeremy Ray on game design. But before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit more about the day today and the tournament as a whole. So, of course, we want to talk about our top 16 tables that were at the going into this round 3. So, of course, we had the privilege of watching table 1, which was Matthew C. versus Trey on that Angress versus Nago. But as you kind of see these people, these are people that were 2-0 going into this round, and we can already see some interesting things that are unfolding. I'm looking all the way at table 8.
Yeah.
Ponies are already having to go against each other, which means the total possibility of a top 8 representation is going to be lower.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're looking at this top 16 table, and we see a lot of the usual suspects that we expected to see here. We see the Anguirus, we see the Rodans, we see the Ponies having to face each other at this point. What I find super interesting is kind of some of these outlier decks. Like, you got George on that Keyleth. I would love to see what that has going on.
It's so good. It is a prison deck for sure,
yeah. And
I think Tam wants to try and get it on stream at some point. It just always happens to be that when Sam Tate sits over here, we watch a very long match. George Zhang is playing this Keyleth deck, and I'll be honest with you, I played a lot of Keyleth during playtesting, and this exact deck that he's probably playing is something that I actually really love about what this deck can do, because she's not a stats-based character. We've talked about this already, and it is playing the game on such a different dynamic that no one else is doing right now, and finally, rejoice, at least for me, someone is trying out this exciting deck. But of course, you see Gavin Kale has chose to play the 3-headed monster in that King Ghidorah. I'm looking at, you see Mitchell Chimino sitting here, of course.
Armored All Might.
Mr. Turn 2 himself, Caden G, playing that War Chief Zeke as well. So again, backup decks coming in here. We got Byron Villatala. He's actually also has quite a few top cuts in his name as well. Nathan DeWalt, we see playing Rodan once again. Jacob Johnson piloting Jacob Johnson. Fighting against Ymir on that Parker S. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of characters still here in the mix. There's even a Shigaraki at table 12.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out. I mean, these outliers on the tables, both the Keyleth and the Shigaraki, are the ones that I'm interested in. And as you mentioned earlier, we have a who's who of UniVersus players. I mean, Andrew Porat, of course, on Rodan, also at table 13.
Yeah. Justin Birch piloting that Zeke 1 deck that apparently I've heard quite a few of the final round crew are piloting today. Jacob Masur playing Angress. So other known names, of course, here in this top cut. Alexa, we saw yesterday piloting the King Ghidorah, Emperor of the Cosmos. So good to see also going 2-0, or currently in the top cut of the room, of course. Paul Butler playing that Armored All Might as well. As there's that representation.
One of the nicest guys in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Playing, +1/+3, people got to die kind of thing. So I would say all in all, this is very much fitting the story that we've been telling. I mean, we're looking at 6 Rodans right now here in this top half. Angress, of course, also in that representation. And we know, at least as the result of our match, that Matthew C. is going to be moving on still in that undefeated side. But a lot of spiciness in between and around it. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm again, this is just a small sample size of our overall registration. I am a little bit surprised to just see the one lone Mothra on this list. I did think that we would, and we didn't see that in the graphic as one of the most represented decks either. I did think it was going to have a bigger presence here.
in general, I think those defensive decks, aside from Rodan, right,
Sure.
which has even shifted towards a more aggressive game plan because they have to be able to win the games. And again, you also give the speed aggressively as well. Definitely agree with you. Not as ton of defensive options here, but maybe that's why, rooting for George Zhang over here, maybe a keyleth representation in top 8, and a very good player, former national champion over here. So really looking excited to see what's going to happen at the end of today.
Absolutely.
But speaking at the end of today and at the end of this weekend, we have these incredible prizes that these players are playing for. Of course, Tekken 8 not out just quite yet, but still playing for playmats, using them, and then also these impenetrable defense promo cards as well. And this is a secret rare from the set, so this is going to be a very one. And talk of the town right now, symbol wise, the good symbol. Good attuned on this secret rare, and it is a very, very good and very powerful defensive piece.
Yeah, I mean, this whole year of regional play with the deck boxes representing the skylines of the different city, I think is absolutely incredible. I'm always, again, I mentioned the FOMO. I'm always so jealous anytime I see one of these new deck boxes with the skylines. I think it's such a cool touch. And then, of course, this playmat is absolutely incredible. Actually, it's no longer FOMO. Everybody else is lucky that I am commentating this weekend, because if not, I'd be taking that home.
That's a good answer. By the way, the Atlanta deck boxes are in the room with us, by the way. They exist somewhere, just so you know. So if you wanted to see some more fun skyline. But, of course, that's Atlanta, and we talked about Atlanta earlier today. Speaking of Atlanta, we've got your caster lineup for the Atlanta show that is coming up, and it's weird that I'm announcing it because, hey, I will be back for Atlanta. I will be joined with Jesse Cervini and, of course, Constantine, your Buffalo regional winner from at the end of last year. So some exciting, returns of Faces of Yore with Constantine, and, of course, Jesse Cervini again for coming back to the fold. And, I'll be there.
Yeah, what a handsome team. Look at that. Look at that.
Thanks, man. I very dated photo. I don't even have my hair like that anymore. But I am wearing the same shirt today. Is that a little bad?
No. I mean, you did it on purpose, knowing that we were going to show this graphic. There's levels to this, people. There's levels to this, and there it is at the top.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. Even Constantine, doing a little bit more of the sort of third-party commentating on his work. Very good, strong player, and honestly, his personality is infectious.
Yeah,
actually,
it's one of those things where great player, nice guy. Also, you can tell when he speaks about the game that he is passionate about the game, right? He sits there, and there's a couple casters we've had this year where you sit there and you listen to them, and you know that there's a part of them that when they are watching the lines, they get the tank a little bit themselves, right? And they're thinking about what their line would be and how they would play. And I think he's done a great job at leading up to this play. I'm excited for it.
That is the best part, is that you talk about these competitive players, and then you see them doing the lines as if they were sitting on that side of the table. And even though they have more perfect information, because we can sometimes see the hands and whatever and stuff like that, you see them act as if they're the player not with that information. And that is the kind of stuff you can't make that up, right?
Yeah.
It is quite literally how you would navigate a situation if this was your tournament run on the line. And that's why it gets more exciting the further we go into the tournament. But speaking of further in, we've got some more alt art ultra rares to show off for the upcoming Tekken 8 booster set.
This is the real reason I sat down for a third row in a row,
All
so
right,
I can take a look at these.
So again, some of these cards have already been shown off. So we've got 2 more of these ultra rares with this sort of hue saturation style with Sky Burial and also Master's Touch. So not while these cards are here, but I do want to bring it up to you. Do you remember a card called Crow and Frog?
Okay, so Crow and Frog.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
When I first started playing this game, I went and I ordered. They were on the Redemption store, right? I ordered a playset. I was super, super excited. The day before they arrived at my doorstep,
It got banned?
It got banned.
Well, as somebody who played Crone Frog and had a little bit of success with it, Sky Burial looks a little familiar to me, mainly because of that bottom Blitz ability. Blitz, discard 1 card, draw 1 card, which is just good.
Yep.
Cycling cards. And if you have a heat token in your stage, this does not count towards progressive difficulty this turn. So extra hurdle to jump through. We need a heat token. And a little bit less stats. It's a 4/4 instead of a 4/5, and doesn't do the cool, crazy readying stuff. But it does give you the sort of cycle draw. I think this card is quite good, especially because of these aggressive symbols on it with air, fire, and life could use a little bit of help.
Interesting. An air symbol card that's not going to count towards progressive, meaning Queen of the Monsters on a 5.
Yeah.
Throw that down.
build it down.
Yep.
Or something else. Do you feel better about using the momentum
Yep.
ability because this card already doesn't count North Progressive? Yeah, definitely some great synergies here. But other synergies on those sort of action cards that we're seeing with these attune symbols on them. The Water Attune Ultra Rare, 0 difficulty, 4 check on Master's Touch, readying foundations. Yes, it freezes them. But if you don't commit them again, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I really like the look of these cards with that monochrome background and the hues in front. The one thing that we can't quite see that's not showing through here is I'm really excited to see what that looks like with the actual foil treatment physically in hand. I'm super excited for these.
Perfect. So make sure you check out that Tekken 8 release, which is going to be on August 14th. And of course, if you're at Gen Con, you can check out the super pre-releases that are happening on that weekend. So make sure you go and check that out, and make sure you get involved with the pre-releases themselves, because Tekken 8 is coming in hot.
Yep. Again, both of us will be there at Gen Con. I will probably be sitting down at one of these pre-releases, so make sure to come and say hello.
I made a heat joke, and you didn't even like bat an eye at it. You just kind of skimmed over.
It is so hot in here that I
You're the one
can't
wearing
even
a
hear
jacket.
my own thoughts, let alone the jokes you're making.
You're the one wearing the jacket. Yeah, so this is our last slide. So I don't have anything else to show you all. But round 3 is concluding. The room is clearing out. People are going to go get lunch. From what I understand, and I wanted to re-clarify this because even I was a little confused, there will be 8 rounds today.
Correct.
There will be 8 rounds, and the reason why people are a little confused is because, yes, it will still be a cut to top 8, as I believe there were 108 players for us this weekend, which is not at that sweet spot of 129 that you need to go to our top 16 threshold. But the reason why the extra round is needed is because of how many buys that exist. Of course, these just reward. You don't have to play one out. It improves your record a little bit harder or a little bit better. But due to the extra round, we will need more fleshed out rounds to do so because of there still being 108 players in the room.
Yeah, listen, one more round for me to watch, for me to cast. I'm happy about going to 8 instead of 7. I'm also super interested, considering what we've seen today on stream, what we saw a lot of yesterday in the side events and stuff like that. I'm interested to see what that record looks like that gets you to day 2.
Yeah.
Right. I think that we are currently in a position where we are going to see a lot of those top cuts having some ticks in that draw column.
Yeah. And like it matters because it does still give you a point.
Yes.
So yeah, for sure going to be seeing I'm not good at bracket math, and I openly admit that.
Yeah.
And I say that as a math major,
Yeah.
only because like it is easy to sit here on round 3 and be like, oh yes, of course, this point or this record will happen. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that tournaments are crazy.
Yeah.
And people draw,
Mm-hmm.
and people drop, and people's match percentage win rates change, and so I never say anything is final. I'll tell you what, you go undefeated, you're making day 2. I think I can solidify that one.
That's bold. That's bold. Instead of going out on a limb.
I would say even if you go XO1, guaranteed. I think you can make that one as well. So those are the only 2 statements I think I'm very confident about making for top 8. But our players still have plenty more. And speaking of players, Sam Tate and Tim Freeleaf, as he's looking right at us, are shuffling up. And we're going to have Jeremy Ray and Tam come over here and talk about Tekken 8 in the background for our lunch break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to swap over for them to sit at the desk. See you in a bit.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the lunch break. I'm Tam, joined here by Jeremy Ray, one of the designers over at UVS Games, and we've got a fun treat for you. Two separate things are going to be happening. One, we're going to be putting on a match between our caster, Sam Tate, and another designer, Tim Friedlieb. But more importantly, while that is happening, Subway Surfer style, I want to talk to you about Tekken. Tekken's coming out on the 14th, and I'm really excited to dive into the mechanics because, man, there's so much cool stuff inside of Tekken. So, first and foremost, how do you feel as an old head, an OG?
Yes.
Another fighting game property, one of the original fighting game properties from the game, is back in UniVersus. Thoughts on that?
I'm excited. I think fighting games, like, obviously, because of the history of the game, really natural fit. Mechanically, functionally, it's really easy to, like, layer flavor into the way that those cards play, accurate to the video game. And I like Tekken. I think, like, it's one of those omnipresent staple fighting games that, like, everybody has experienced in a certain age group at some point in their life and mashed some buttons and
100%
had a good time with it. So
yeah, going to the beercade is my first real introduction to Tekken, and having a friend who knows how to play the game and I don't, and I was like, I put the quarter down and I go, I got this, and I slam my palm, and he knows what he's doing, and he can do the buttons inputs and whatnot. Very complicated game, especially as somebody, I'm a Street Fighter fan. That's my go-to fighting game. Which Street Fighter also in the game, getting Challenger Deck soon. It is fun to dive into the world of Tekken. Before we get into this set, I actually want to talk a little bit about the OG, the original Tekken set.
Yeah.
And obviously we have Tekken 8 here. But how do you think that it translates well from the original Tekken sets coming out? I mean, it was like Tekken 4, Tekken 5 in the original UVS UFS days, all the way up to Tekken 8. What similarities do you think exist? Was there any inspiration from the old cards, or was it just, look at the IP of Tekken 8, we'll take exclusively from that?
Yeah, I think that there's some interesting things. I can tell you an anecdote that is maybe the most interesting one.
Please.
Jeremy Ray, was a designer. The first design work I ever did was in the original set.
Whoa.
And then I got to work on this one too. So that has carried through.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I was a playtester then, a volunteer playtester, and they asked me to do up a couple of the promos. So a bunch of the promo characters like Steve Fox, Brian Fury, stuff like that were all designs I got to do. So that was like my first real experience with cards that got printed and published. The biggest thing I did was the Mishimas, all three of them.
Oh.
So it was really cool to come back to the IP again and revisit them. I'm a big Jin fan, but also like the Mishimas are just kind of the first family of the Tekken series. So it was really cool getting to revisit those. I think some of that inspiration got to come through, but I will say, like, the world has changed in the games in a significant way, so you have to like be like really thinking like there's just a bunch of people with the devil gene running around right now. That was kind of like a Kazuya only thing back then.
True, yeah, that's fair.
So you kind of got to do that. I think one of the cool things about Tekken, or the original one, was the characters had their own like sort of, how do I put this, guide rails to how they want to explore deck building.
Sure.
And that was something we tried to capture that was really present in the original and here, where like, Yoshimitsu with his swords, assets, whatever, destructive form, detachable head, Alyssa, like, here's some, you don't have to hold the rails while you do the deck building. Our deck building is very varied. It is a vast jungle. But pretty much every character.
I like that phrase. It's a vast jungle.
It is a vast jungle.
And as you guess games, you give us a machete, but sometimes we wander.
Yeah, sometimes you jump up and just go. Sometimes you build a treehouse right at the front door. Like, it just depends on how you're feeling. But that was one thing that we wanted to do was like, hey, we want these characters to have a flow to deck building and gameplay.
Yeah. I think it's cool as somebody who is very new into Tekken. Like, again, Beercade.
Yeah.
Have a quarter, go O2, go jump on the Street Fighter set. Like on my stream, I watched like the history of Tekken 1 through 7 to prepare for the set. And then I ended up picking up and playing
has
Tekken 8.
wild
it was,
lore.
Dude, it was wild.
The
It was
lore is
insane.
crazy.
It's like a 2.5 hour video, and it took me
Yeah.
4 because of pausing and being like, wait,
what happened?
what?
He
Wait,
threw him into a volcano again?
Again? And there's a kangaroo with boxing gloves that has... Okay, sure.
Wait, and this guy was the GOAT, now he sucks? Like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Okay.
Why is
Yeah.
he washed up? I don't
Any-
understand.
Anywho, and no hair product in that hair? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I then literally, like the Wednesday before coming out here, played through all of Tekken 8. It was a blast. It was so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
fun. And it is giving me new appreciation for the set and the design of, like when I jump into the tutorial and I've got Max, who is the guy who's like teaching me how to play Tekken. The first thing he does is go, "Hey, dude, use your heat." and a heat token is like one of the absolute main focuses. I mean, the word Control
It is.
F heat token
Yeah.
it's got to be
It's-
all like 100 plus inside
a
this
lot of
set.
hits.
It's a ton, and it's really cool to see that flavor of the designers of the video game Tekken 8 were very adamant that I want you to play around with heat. I want you to instantly spin that heat as soon as you get it, big burst of speed, and then build it back up later.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys showcase that so well. Give me some showcases of like your favorite pieces of design wise when it comes to the heat token, or maybe some like the little dev diary before the actual article comes out.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the most important thing it is the center of the world that is the Tekken set. It is a mechanic. There's spot checks. There's spenders. There's small buffs that just kind of come from it existing in your stage.
Even like extra cost, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We've seen like spend a heat token to even be able to play this card,
Yes.
which like takes like I've seen those on a couple of rares. There's like a king card. It's like an echo throw. That, like if it hits, draws you a card or something like that. Like it's like
Super good.
if it didn't have the heat token thing, I think it'd be like playable in
It's-
every deck.
it's not. It's
Everyone would be
completely
playing it.
crazy.
And so like it's cool to see such a unique mechanic be gated and be able to be gated in such a unique way.
Yeah, and like it, being thematically accurate was super important, but also just like making sure that the characters were doing like fun, interesting things, like feeling like a heat token was worth it.
Yeah.
Like there's I'll tell you, you like mention one of my favorites, Huang.
Yeah.
His ultra rare, it's understated, but if you've got a heat token, it's non-prog. So like, listen, I love long card pools. This has been my play style for 15 years.
As we
So,
see, as
yeah,
we
yeah.
see Biolante
Yeah,
touch
yes.
the
Going
table.
massive kickflip Biolante stuff. So I have not just Huang, but like numerous characters built around getting a heat token and spamming out as many of those as possible,
Yep.
and then starting the regular attack turn afterwards.
Yeah.
And I love that card. It's one of my favorites. I think Destructive Form Melissa is. There's a lot of ways to play that character. Destructive Form is the one that we kind of go like, hey, there's a bunch of pieces to support this to actual head Destructive Form. You don't have to play her that way, but I do like playing her that way. Like those pieces are meant to work together.
Yeah, heat token being that like representation of in fighting games true chip damage of
Yeah.
like I hit you and your health total still goes down without being like, as so far as like the big chunkiness of a throw that we have in our game, right?
Yeah.
You have full blocks. So like I really like the spammable, repeatable. Like if you have a deck that just like plays a heat token every turn, you win in
Yeah.
20 attacks. Like it's just over.
Yeah,
right? Like
go wide
it's
enough.
just
and
over.
It's a lot of extra damage real
Yeah.
quick, depending on how people are defending themselves. Yeah, and I think that like there's a couple like decks that really benefit from heat tokens just kind of with what they're already doing, and anyone who's like, not that this character needs it, but like the ponies of the world who are stringing long or the
Yeah.
Mikasas, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, if you block 4 things, it's basically another attack landed.
Correct.
And that's a fourth of Rodan's health.
And that is again. I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
about Rodan, the most represented character in our format. It can't be Mikasa Ackerman or Mikasa defeats the female Titan, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just extra
just-
damage. It's just burn. And so like you just get like a crunch your numbers in like slightly different ways, and
Yeah.
attacks that you were maybe not going to play. you could now play. Question from the chat:
Yeah.
were you thinking about reprinting any OG Tekken cards as back page promo callbacks? I mean, we've seen some pullbacks from later sets. I mean, even in the most recent Godzilla set, we've had cards all the way back from the set 3 My Hero set. As an old head, which ones were you thinking, if any?
So it's something we talked about, but it is trickier because Tekken comes from it is just past the line of the bygone era where it was a previous company set release.
Sure.
So like it's a little more nebulous to like just flash those back in. It wasn't impossible. We talked about it, but it's funny because Tekken comes from a nexus point where I think game design changed a lot for the game as a whole.
Sure.
It was a point where like, hey, we are really shifting the focus to attacking rather than developing powerful stages, which is like what you'd hope a fighting game was doing all along. But in the early days, that wasn't always the case.
Hey, a lot of footsies, you know.
Yeah,
a lot of. I'm gonna shift back and forth. I'm gonna build 3 foundations and pass.
So there was some cards with candidates. There's a card called it was a Paul Phoenix card called like Hammer of the Gods. That it's a stun 2. It's a big 5-diff lead in. It can get kind of big. You can pitch a card. Boomer memory. Pitch a card for damage equal to the block monitor of the card you pitch.
Oh.
And it's like a 5-diff, 3 mid, stun 2.
That'd be
5-diff.
really cool for Paul.
Yeah. And good card. There's some cards that we kind of were like, all right, like we'll kind of like acknowledge it, but we ended up going like the characters have developed, they've changed. We want to give them new tools reflective of some of their new things and like some of their fun features. And didn't end up bringing them back. But there was some talk about it. Like I very specifically, there was like 3 or 4 cards where it's like, this would be kind of cool to come back, especially for characters who were returning from those OG sets. Paul Phoenix being kind of one of them. He's a promo, but
yeah. Well, I mean, there's certainly some love for the promo cards inside of the set.
The promo characters, I think, all have 1 to 2 cards of support. I can't quite remember exactly how many we settled on, but they certainly have I think Paul's got the unblockable, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's a Paul themed card. Could be wrong.
That makes me very scared.
It's
Paul having an unblockable.
It doesn't do 1 million damage, but it is unblockable.
It certainly opens you up to do 1 million later, though. That one's still a lot of get done.
Yeah.
So speaking of attacks,
Yes.
Rage Art.
Yes.
As soon as I saw the first printing, and I knew just enough about Tekken to be like, the game goes slow-mo when we're at both at low health. The swing comes in.
Gets real dramatic.
I really like the theme that you guys have of, for all of these Rage Arts, -1 difficulty, to really, I'm getting my teeth kicked in. Maybe this one last move is going to do it. And some of these numbers that you guys are starting with are really scary to give -1 to.
There's a couple, like the King Throw is uncomfortable. The King Ultra Throw at 4 difficulty.
Yeah.
That thing does 8. That's a lot for a 4-diff throw.
Hey, finish your food, you know? Like, don't let me have 5 or less health.
I think that is one of the more interesting ones that I can reflect on a little bit more, too, because in very early development, there was a lot of cool mechanics in Tekken A8. And like there's basically like the Rage Arts and like relatively like some super style type moves and like some meter spenders and heat tokens, and it's like, what mechanics can we focus on, but also which mechanics are a little easier to put into a like smaller subset of categories where they can still be represented accurately. And like pulling heat and trying to turn it into a small token was really difficult. Like to try to make it a less important mechanic, like conceptually, because we had ideas where like Rage Arts were the meat of the set.
Oh,
and
okay.
It didn't really pan out that well because, again, some games you're never in that Rage Art zone. Sometimes you just get hit by a growing grass for 30, which is looking like it might happen here on stream in a second. But the so like we ended up settling as heat being the centerpiece, but we wanted Rage Art to be represented.
Yeah.
And so we found, a fairly simple line of text that nobody's going to complain about having on an attack they play.
Totally.
So.
And it's something that, like, although we can very much see the through line to the Rage Art, easily could be represented elsewhere in some other big super move. Like if you'd have told me that the 6 difficulty like salvo burster or whatever the all for one ultra rare is, got -1 if you're at 5 or less, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
Like he's pushing it all one last time, and so it's certainly a mechanic that is not so I use the words heat or tension locked. That
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
come back and revisit and be like, oh, that makes total sense.
Absolutely. There was a version 2 on the Rage where like all the characters had a rage mode on their character abilities, and this was actually like this was really hard to balance. Like
It sounds very cool though.
but and every character card was a lot of words, but it was very cool. It just was a little unwieldy, unfortunately.
That is fair. Speaking of characters, were there any characters that just barely made the cut? And if so, can you give us any insight on the process? Obviously, the licensor has a lot to go on, but you guys have a little bit of wiggle room, I'm sure.
We had some agency here, and we had some things. I guess like in one sense, like it wasn't for any particular like complicated licensing reason or anything, but like Hayachi was tough because he's like a DLC,
Correct.
and like when we were in development, he was like just announced, and we weren't sure
if you were gonna get him.
Yes, if we were going to be okay to use him.
That's
and
cool.
so he got like a little, honestly, like a little bit of a late start in design because we were like not sure we were going to be allowed.
That guy got a late start.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you for 100 damage, guy.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody at home,
Yeah,
double check him.
But we got to use him. We wanted to capture all the Mishimas if we could. We considered it a great fortune that we got to use him at all.
Yeah.
Because he was a little like dicier. Everyone else was pretty locked in. I will say this is like a behind the scenes candid. Oh man, he's about to do 1,000 damage to Sam. I lost my train of thought.
Characters that we could have seen but didn't. You
Oh,
told me
yeah.
you told me a character that we
Gee.
almost didn't get to see, but we did.
We had like a big debate on where Jin would be, like whether Jin was going to be in the set, outside the set. We already had the starter deck one, but the starter deck one wasn't like super satisfying experience for everybody. So like where Jin was going to be as like a figurehead was like, we weren't sure in set, out set, but we knew we wanted him there because he's such like an important character. And yeah, like we got to the spot where we got to do him as this cool pre-release promo. So he still gets to exist. He still gets to do powerful stuff, but it's, he already has like some feature support. He already has Devil Jin. He already has Starter Jin. So we wanted to save some room for characters who might not get a chance to be explored the same way.
I really like the fact that we have Jin back in the set, and I really like how he's designed specifically of this whole, turn sideways, grab the gene. It's so hard to not say Devil Jin versus Devil Jin. It's so incredibly hard. Cannot wait to cast those games. Commit him to get it, commit him to lose it, especially because of how like commit heavy his support was from that starter deck, right?
Yes.
Like he's got the 3 diff that I believe is just called the Devil Jin.
Yeah.
That is like, spin a momentum, ready my character, which is like, wow, this character is very good. He's really good if you're allowed to double up on the cool commit cost thing. A thing that like we don't normally see pretty much in any kit ever is re-ready my, my pseudo once per turn ability.
Not to distract from the conversation, but this growing grasp is going to be enormous. But yeah, the Devil Gene, we like all the Mishimas and honorary Mishima Reina. Spoilers. She's got a Devil Gene counter ability on her character. I hope people would figure it out.
Hey, I had no idea. I was so blindsided.
Yeah. This growing grasp did 100. We wanted like all of them to key on the mechanic. It is a central part of the set. And the like, how do I put it? Not the set, like the game itself. It's like the Devil's Gene storyline, like literally Super Jin versus Super Kazuya is like basically where you start in the game.
It was wild walking into New York and having never played a Tekken ever, really. And they were like, actually, fight your dad.
Yeah.
And I was like,
right now.
Wait, what?
He will throw you into a volcano. You need to fight this man immediately.
Right now.
So it was, like capturing the Devil Gene was something we wanted to do because it was like both central to this game and also like new character and things like that. And we wanted them all to do it in like a different cool way. Like, and I think we did a good job of capturing that. Like I think my favorite is Reina because she gets like this big comeback swing when she changes, and I think that's so cool. But I like all of them a lot.
Without and I won't do spoilers for the game. Everybody, please go play Tekken 8. It was
Yeah,
a fun
yeah.
story. It was certainly
It's really fun.
it was a roller coaster of a ride for sure.
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, it was very cool to like be excited for Reina mechanically before knowing anything, and then play
Yes.
the story and go, "Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it." It was cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially like maybe like lapsed Tekken players who played a lot, like in Tekken Tag eras or something like that, might not really know her deal. So like, I do wonder if they look at her and go, "Wait, who the heck is like, is this Jin's kid? Like, who is this?
Who is
like,
this?
yeah.
We talked about New York,
Yes.
which brings me to we talked about heat tokens.
Yeah.
Whatever. Rage arts. Whatever. We introduced a brand new card type in this
did.
set. And I think it's a card type that people were, I'll use the word divisive about.
Polarized.
Polarized.
Yeah.
And then it kind of died down.
Yeah.
I am so incredibly excited for arenas.
I'm
Talk to
glad.
me about the process of slowly phasing out terrain,
Yes.
and then where did it come from? How did we get there? Are there iterations that you could share of like we wanted this idea? Because when I think of properties, right?
Yeah.
I think of person, place, thing,
Yes.
music. And we're not going to get music cards, I'm sure. We're not going to get theme song cards.
Listen,
Actually, wait a minute, hold
Jiro
on.
has an issue with your.
He does have a theme
yeah,
song card. Wait a minute.
Music is an alt win in our game.
That's true.
Literally, you just play a badass song and win the game.
That's true. Talk to me about how you took a mechanic that, truthfully, the game like started with terrains,
Yes.
phased out, and I think personally made better.
Yeah. So this is one of those things I could go on for like a really long time because this was several conversations.
And we've
But-
got like 20, 30 minutes, so please go on for 20, 30 minutes.
Okay. So I will say this: terrain is not necessarily inherently dead, but what I will say is that we have long kind of, and like everyone has their own opinions on it, even on our team. But like terrain as a mechanic is just unique to, like we have unique 1. How would you like unique 2?
Oh, Unique the second.
Yes.
Okay,
The sequel, Unique 2, it's
okay.
terrain. And having 2 mechanics, they're technically keyword abilities
Yep.
that essentially do the same thing. And sometimes, like, you could make a case should be on the same card, is like a little weird. It never quite like made sense mechanically. I don't necessarily think the back and forth between punching out each other's terrains, while I get some of the thematic elements of it, is a particularly satisfying gameplay experience.
Yep.
Some of the games do it, it's fine. But it is tough to be like, to balance a card that has a separate lever that we don't really have a ton of agency over. It's just based on like popularity of those types of cards in the game.
Yep.
So it's like, do you make a terrain stronger than a unique because it's unique 2 and it's like slightly more unique?
Yeah.
Like it becomes a weird level. So we've been talking about for a while, and this goes back even further, breaking out what an asset is into more defined forms.
Yeah.
And an asset should be a weapon or tool or object largely that you battle somebody with. But in the past, an asset has been people, places, and things, and also sometimes ideas for no reasons.
Yeah.
And like we wanted to try and zoom that in to a more specific subset of things. And the first thing we broke off was backups.
Right.
Where it's like having a person be the same thing as a sword always was kind of a thing. And honestly, it was a problem with licensors. They're like,
True.
why is this gun also like why is Airy one of these things and a gun one of these things? What do they have in common? Like why are they the same card type? So that didn't like always sit well, and breaking them off like backups into its own card type, I think was really powerful for a bunch of reasons for both us at a design level, but also in like being able to show off the characters in more like authentic ways, and like like a supporting character might be a guy who holds a shield and takes a hit for you. That was like, there's a few forms of defensive assets that do that, but there's also objects that do that. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
So that was like super, super, super valuable. And then we were staring at, we did people. We liked that they're things. What about places?
What about places?
Places are kind of things, but like places can be really iconic to the worlds they're in.
100%.
Like you can pick an IP, and like I don't want to like get into a bunch of specifics, but there's a bunch of iconic places, locations, and a bunch of things. Be it on like a battle cruiser or like a giant spaceship, or on a planet, remote planet, like a battle planet type thing for comics. All those sorts of things like become things, and like just being like those are also assets just doesn't always feel authentic to what they are, because then you have to make them like they're an object.
Yeah, and like if we like want to be lore gamers, the characters that like interact with assets, like sometimes don't interact. Like Yoshimitsu's not swinging a building around.
Yeah,
he's swinging a sword.
He doesn't have like a small child that he like throws at his enemy.
He's
like,
not overhaul.
No. Yeah, and so it didn't make sense. So we wanted to do that, but we also wanted to build some new ideas onto the places part of the thing, because like these really iconic locations in games, like fighting game stages, whatever, are more energized than just like, oh, it's a thing. Like they can have emotional ties, they can have meanings, they can have like, I just think you can do a lot more. So we really wanted to freshen up the mechanic, and Arena is a super experimental mechanic.
Yeah,
it is doing a thing that has never happened before, and like it's specifically like creating an object that exists in a state that is nebulous to both stages.
Yeah,
like technically both players have to have agency over it. So we had to invent a lot of concepts to make it work. I think arenas are super fun, but we are, much like when we debuted backups, taking a cautious approach to them.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's fair.
We have to be careful in both balancing them because they are new, but also in player feedback. There's a lot of things that have been tried in the last 2 years, especially, that like seeing what the players like and don't like and what they react to and what they do react to is really valuable. And arenas, we're gonna have to see how players react to them. I like them. I think they're fun. I think they do a fun thing. I think they play in such a unique way that you get to do like cool things with them. And like everybody likes a bing bong. So
I cannot stress enough how excited I am to really explore this space, because I mean we've had in the past of the game on check do something really cool and exciting.
Yes,
like it just like over and over and over again.
Some of them were a little gross.
Some of them were gross.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of like, I don't know, I play an attack card and I kick you into the arena.
Yeah,
and then we scrap there for a bit, and then I kick you out of it into another one.
Yes.
I'm really, really excited to be like, in eventually, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend that there's arenas in the next sets forever and ever. Like to kick you from the training dojo in Tekken
into the street or whatever,
into the final battle of Attack on Titan, into the Critical Role like Dragon's Den, like that's so cool to me. Of like I'll kick you into New York City Turtles, like not having some representation of the sewers or New York like as a whole is like such a miss. But you just literally didn't have the tools in your tool belt to represent that appropriately until now, and now you do.
Yeah.
When Turtles 2 comes out, holy cow, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for New York City.
I am too. And I'm excited what we can do this space. And like also, like these arenas have like that arena break mechanic, which is really iconic. The wall breaks of Tekken are like a huge part of the competitive play. It helps you extend your combo, gives you extra damage. Like wall breaks are a big deal, and like the arena breaks are a big deal. Future arenas might not have the same sorts of mechanics. Like maybe you spend some time in there and then they time out naturally and you end up in a different place. Maybe they stay in there real sticky and hard to get out of and you want to escape them. Those are the kind of things we can explore.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so it'd be like I mean, you see these control decks and you literally lock them in a prison.
Yeah.
I checked this thing and everybody's moves have -4 damage.
Yeah.
You're not killing me.
Literal pit of quicksand, sort of like.
Yeah. All speed is now 0.
Yeah, all players are stuck in the quicksand.
Yeah.
And like one player is gonna have to try to get out if they want to not be in the quicksand anymore.
That's cool. That's a cool spot to be in.
So it gives us a lot of space, and we're gonna work on, we're gonna see the feedback that people have to it now, and we're gonna work on how we can improve the concept, how we can energize the concept, and if people like it, you'll see a lot more of them. If people don't like it, I don't think we're gonna completely cut them, but you might see more iteration, like slightly different shapes.
Sure. So we have a question from the chat that says, are you expecting to see any played competitively? I don't think you necessarily care about competitively. So I'll ask a different shaped question. Which is your favorite?
Arena?
Descent
in Subconsciousness. I think that one will probably see competitive play in some decks. You just break through the wall of infinity and end up back in infinity, and I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember the name of it, but the evil one, I'm actually like high on that one just as a card to play in your deck.
That's how I feel. I think that one is actually competitive.
Yeah.
Randomly burn 3 off the top of your deck is like a good ability. Especially if like you're an aggressive evil deck and just like can take care of it.
Absolutely. Like sometimes you're just trying to run a guy over.
Yeah.
And so I think that those are good, and I think some of the other ones could find homes. We in testing like found a deck that we liked pretty much every arena, and I could not tell you all of them off of the top of my head, but there was no arena that was homeless, so to speak.
Sure. I love that.
Yeah.
This might be above your pay grade, and please kick the can if you need to. Any chance for more promo characters like we got for Devil Jin and Paul Phoenix? There are so many characters in this game. Again, playing through my run through of Tekken, I was like, holy cow. Why? I don't know half of these people, and
and
the roster is seen
big.
the whole set,
And some characters go through a lot of